Hi, welcome back. As said, today's video, we're going to be taking a look at a different website in relation to Kenny Veach disappearance case and the M-Cave mystery. Now, last video I did was looking at a 2015 article website about the mystery, and I guess there was limited information. If you haven't already checked that one out, make sure to do so. There should be a link top corner of the screen. Today, we're going to be taking a look at a very new one. I believe it's 2022 this was done. So we'll see if progression has been made, if anything, what we've found or discussed has been mentioned within. I can't imagine it being the case. It would be typical. But yeah, let's get into it. I'll read through it once again and I'll analyse as we go along. Okay, so here is the website. It's by Anne-Marie whatever. You can't see the date because I've got the reader mode activated, okay, so it's just only showing the important text. And it's called The M-Cave and the Hunt for Missing Kenny Veach. Now this picture here, I don't know if it was taken by Kenny Veach. I don't know if it's within the area, whether it's in the Mojave Desert or not, but I have seen it a few times now, especially on Facebook posts in the past. I think on that Kenny Veach community page. So I'm not too sure if it is the picture or not by Kenny or somebody else. Anyway, let's start reading. So, the Mojave Desert, also known as the High Desert, is the hottest, driest place in North America. At nearly 48,000 square miles, it is home to a wide variety of landscapes, from picturesque vistas to barren wastelands, from high mountains to deep valleys, places where nothing lives to sprawling communities buzzing with activity. Cities such as Las Vegas, San Bernardino, and Lancaster sit at its peripheries, though the larger area of the desert itself is sparsely populated. Its rich scenery and regions such as Death Valley, which regularly records temperatures as high as 134 degrees Fahrenheit, 58 degrees Celsius, are amongst the most popular tourist attractions. The desert mountains, endless networks of caves, and its myriad of abandoned mines also pull in adventurers from all over the world, where this terrain is by no means for the inexperienced. Many who go trekking across Mojave never return alive. What? Right, okay. So it gives like a little introduction to the location, environment, temperatures, etc. Okay, it is what it is, but then again, I guess the temperatures can vary depending on the time of the month. Sometimes very cold, sometimes very hot. You get the cold traps, etc. As Jay Silverheels has said. But what bit stands out from this part, at least, where the writer says the desert's mountains, endless networks of caves. What? Endless network of caves? Where even are the caves? I mean, unless this person is generalizing, like somewhere within the Mojave Desert there are actual caves, okay. But if we're specifically talking about M-Cave and Kenny Veach, we're talking about Jomay Canyon, and there are no caves present which have not been found yet, which are deep enough, which are a proper cave, and no tunnel networks or cave networks have been found. So I don't know what this person is talking about, unless they just mean somewhere else, and that's the case, then it's not really relevant to the mystery, is it? And also where it says, many who go trekking across the Mojave never return alive. Okay. So it's implying that there are several upon several missing people out there. Really? Because you try searching online, there doesn't really seem to be anyone out there. Really, the only people we know of, supposedly, Kenny Veach, maybe Eric the Hiker, supposedly, and some other unknown person in which there was a private search and rescue looking for the individual out there up, I can't remember the name, near the start of Jomay Canyon, but to the right. So, if this person is implying that the location is notorious for many missing people, then why have we not heard of it before? And did Kenny know of it himself? Is there more to this than what we know, or is this a load of rubbish? Let's go down a bit. But Kenny knew that wouldn't be the case for him. He was an accomplished long-distance hiker and confident too. Sometimes he would take his girlfriend along with him, although the majority of his hikes were solo and many of them involved camping over a number of days. Well, let's just stop there. You know, the way the word is saying, oh, well, considering the way Kenny Veach is, it was no chance for him. Well, okay. This writer is a bit inaccurate because realistically, we've seen the footage of Kenny, the unreleased footage where he came back after that long hike, his MK hike video. He was exhausted, he was tired, knackered, legs hurting, kind of limping, decided to drink alcohol instead of water. Not exactly practical, is it? Limited supplies, limited water intake in his backpack. Not exactly practical, is it? And what about the time when he injured his leg? I believe it was a broken left leg or something in the past. He was in danger. He had to call for help, air helicopter to rescue him. Not exactly practical or clever, is it? And yet this writer is portraying him as invincible. Yeah, I think we need to get a little bit realistic, okay? What else? His life wasn't all hiking. It appears he spent a good amount of time on the internet and on YouTube. One account that he interacted with in particular is called Serious Disclosure. Now, Serious Disclosure is a group studying extraterrestrials. This is how they describe themselves on their website. Okay, so I've never heard of this channel. And how does this person, this writer, know that Kenny's spent a lot of time on YouTube and the internet? Because I've only seen a handful of comments which Artari researched into, and Serious Disclosure didn't pop up in any of them. So what does this writer know about? Do they have access to things we don't have? Are they making it up? Did they investigate? Were they a part of the investigation of the house back in 2014, 2015, when they were going through his phone, his search history? Does this writer have access to family members and what was said there? Because I've never seen or heard any of this before. You can let me know what you think down below, whether this person is lying or they just have more information, which we've never seen before. So basically, that website is all about, we are interested in the development of a peaceful relationship with ET, which has been visiting planet Earth for decades, if not centuries. Part of the reason that ET presence has been kept secret is that one of the first questions would be, how are they getting here? They are not using fossil fuels, it is through zero-point or quantum vacuum energy generation systems. And it is those energy systems we want to develop and bring out to the general public so that we may have a world of pollution-free, sustainable abundance. Okay. I can imagine Kenny being involved in that in some way, especially to do with making, I guess, the planet Earth, what would you call it, a bit greener, a bit more healthier, survive longer, be better, because, you know, you look at his spiritual post back in 2012 and it was about the world and life and stuff, it being precious, etc. Now, linking on. Now, if you looked at their YouTube channel under the founder's name, Dr. Stephen Greer, one video stands out with substantially more views than the rest. It's a witness testimony titled Son of an Area 51 Technician. Here we go. It's only 16 minutes long, and Paul Utz retells a story that his father drunkenly admitted to him. To sum it up, it was about a device they invented to be a new type of energy source. But the weird thing about this energy source is that it was composed of organic materials and appeared to have some sort of consciousness. In the comments, there is a stark mix between people commending him for telling his story bravely, truthfully, and trolls like the guy who said, I talked to my dad once, it was nice. Wow. What else? Among the mixed responses in the comment feed, one user named Snakebitmgee said, this ain't nothing. I'm a long-distance hiker. One time during one of my hikes out by Nellis Air Force Base, I found a hidden cave. The entrance to the cave was shaped like a perfect capital M. I always enter every cave I find, but as I begin to enter this particular cave, my whole body begins to vibrate. The closer I got to the cave entrance, the worse the vibrating became. Suddenly, I became very scared and hightailed out of there. That was one of the strangest things that have ever happened to me. Right, so let's just take something in mind. Once again, Kenny, or the supposed created quote, is referring back to Nellis Air Force Base. I really think I need to make a video about that, because either there's some kind of confusion going on, or there's more than the whole direction's been completely wrong. One or the other, okay? I will make the next video on that or so in relation to the mystery, because it's a bit messy. Anyway, this comment itself, back to the son of Area 51 technician, the writer talking about it. What the writer fails to include, once again, no new information or updates, is the comment no longer exist. It's gone. It's been deleted. It's been removed manually. Whether it be maybe someone reported it, but for what reason? It didn't go against TOS, nothing wrong with it. Did the channel decide to get rid of it? Why? Because it was gaining too much attention and traction, because it's in relation to Area 51 military, hiding something. Kenny supposedly revealing something, and the channel doesn't like that, so they want to silence and censor. Or could it be someone who has access to Kenny's channel and took the comment down to, I don't know, remove traces of Kenny? Maybe. Why does this article, this website, fail to include that the comment has been taken down? I mean, it's a fairly big thing. I mean, what next? The MK video hike one's going to be suddenly taken down or privatized, and then what? Oh well, never mind, and just completely ignore it. I don't think so. It seems to be pick and choose when it comes to information. But then again, typical. You see big YouTubers, most of them fail to include the more relevant, up-to-date information. Same's happened here, okay? Anyway, and that is where this rabbit hole begins, aka missing out key information already. The onslaught of questions and criticism from his original comment probably helped convince him to go back to what was now dubbed the M Cave. Although Kenny called that first trip a frightening and life-changing experience, he was determined to go back and more prepared. Doesn't sound like a suicidal person, does it? Like he said, he was a brave hiker and didn't shy away from any cave. Well, is there any caves out there to begin with? Right. Throughout this 4-month-long conversation in the comment section, he began getting pretty defensive and replying to the critics. He calls out a particular troll saying, "Now run back under your bridge. I have answered your question." And what caught my attention was the way he described himself in an inflated ego kind of way. He said in another reply, "No, I solo hike across the mountaintops that most people wouldn't dare go. I've been in more caves than I can count. I play with rattlesnakes for fun, but this one particular cave was beyond anything I'd ever encountered. Someday I'll go back and I'll bring a weapon with me. All I had at the time was a knife and a wrist rocket," whatever that is. So this writer, whether it be their own little psychological analysis of Kenny and interpreting the behaviour of him, language-based behaviour, is Kenny's getting defensive. I've seen people get defensive over time, as you already know, and etc., etc. But it makes sense to why Kenny would get defensive, because if he truly has found something and truly believes in it, if people do show resistance and go against it, he will defend himself, or he will defend whatever, because he believes in it and, you know, he's passionate or serious about it. It makes sense. As for the whole ego thing, well, you could say, oh, he's a bit cocky, a bit narcissistic here and there. But, you know, it can happen at times when someone might be good at something or might have done a range of stuff that narcissisticness, if that's a word, may leak out within someone when dealing with resistance to try and shut someone down. Sometimes out of one's control, it leaks. Possible. Anyway, In another comment, he said maybe it's just a strange looking cave that has a mountain lion living in it. Should be sometime this week. I'll have my 9mm with me this time just in case. Last time I was unarmed. It's a 10-hour hike, no trails, very dangerous terrain. The mountain is located right next to a bombing range. I found some giant empty rounds of ammo before. I've just been waiting for the Vegas weather to cool down. It's not the kind of hike one would do in the summer. Yeah, that all seems to check out. 10-hour hike, pretty much. Yep, it takes some time. The bit about the bombing range, can you confirm down below? Isn't the bombing range not accessible? You're not allowed to go on it because it's dangerous, but more importantly, it's restricted land. I can't quite remember. I did do a map analysis of, restricted land and the border. I'm not sure if that includes the bombing range. It must do. Now, did Kenny go onto the bombing range at some point to find that shell, or did the shell stray away from the restricted land and was on public land? Maybe. I can't confirm that though. So, yeah. I mean, if he was on the bombing range and he wasn't supposed to or allowed to, maybe on his final hike he was reckless once more and it catched up on him. Possibly. Let's go down a bit. Because YouTube comments don't show specific dates this long out, I can't tell when this next series occurred exactly, but under his same original comment, someone asked, "Did you make it back okay?" And Kenny answered, "I got back from a 10-hour hike yesterday. I completely searched the whole damned canyon. I could not relocate the cave. I found a tarantula, tortoise, and a ram, but I could not find the cave. I don't know if you have ever climbed up and down a mountain for 10 hours, but it wore me out. All I got out of it was some nice photos and a big bag full of pinion nuts. This is the perfect time of the year to find pinion nuts. Thanks for asking." Okay, so basically, this just simply confirms that after that M Cave hike video he uploaded to his channel, he did make it back home because he did reply to someone online about it. From the looks of this, at least. Now, the writer did say, I can't show any specific dates. So, how accurate are they? But all this information and all these comments and replies, I can't quite remember the date of when this was done. I think it said the 21st of February something, or the 28th of February, 2022. The comment, as I said, was deleted maybe a year ago and a few months. Yeah. So I don't know how this person got a hold of all those comments and replies unless they already had access or took photos of it before the comments got deleted. If not, I don't know how they had access or found them, because if they were deleted, you couldn't find them anymore, right? Oh well. Anything else? Also, again, he starts responding incredibly long-winded arguments towards any critics. You're welcome to your opinion. I have a video of the hike if you'd like to see it. I hiked completely around a large mountain. Do you even have a clue what that's like? There are hundreds of caves up there and down the canyons I was in. I overestimated my ability to find the one I was looking for. It's rare for me to take the same hike twice. I don't use trails, and I cover extremely long distances. If you think you could do better, go for it. I have to warn you though, it's brutal on the feet. I often will lose 1 or 2 toenails after one of my hikes. The nails take such punishment that they turn black and fall off. If you have ever hiked solo for 15 miles into a mountainous region and then climbed to the top of the mountain you have never even seen before, spent the night on the peak and climbed down the next morning, and then climbed on to another tall mountain the next day and spent the night again, then hiked 15 to 20 miles all the way back to your vehicle the following day, worn out, with little to no water left, carrying a heavier pack than when you left, then barely having enough strength to climb your stairs when you get home, and slid into a hot tub of water to rejuvenate yourself, you have no room to speak. Yes, this is what I do for fun. No, I didn't find the damned cave. I'm only a little disappointed. I can always go back and try again. I guess I need to start posting the videos of my hikes and of me catching rattlesnakes and critters. Then people like you would stop doubting me. Okay, so yeah, that's another one of Kenny's comments. Yeah, it's long. It makes sense though, if he's been through the wars, put all that effort in, all that energy, didn't work out, and now people are complaining. It's like, shut up, you know, look at how much I've contributed, look at how much I've done, what have you done? You know, sit down. It's like that. That's probably what's going through his mind at the time. I mean, there's a lot of writing. I'm just trying to think, does much stand out? It says he's only a little disappointed, and he also says I should start posting videos of my hikes and catching rattlesnakes and critters. Well, from what some of us have said previously, I don't know if it's before or after the MK hike video, but he did have other videos of hikes on his channel, which were then deleted at a certain point in time. You know, I felt like that there was other videos on his channel. Don't have any evidence to prove it though. But then individually, other people have randomly come out as well and left comments saying they think the same way. So that's kind of interesting. So he's saying, I need to post all these videos. Then was this the comment which led to all those other videos being posted before he went missing? Or did he do it before this comment was done, but then he deleted them and then he said, I need to post more? I don't know. But yeah, let's just go down more. It says, and like the commenters were begging, Kenny posted his search to YouTube channel. It's 21 minutes long, largely anticlimactic. Listen to my podcast above for clips from Kenny's video. He introduces himself, stops to snack on some pine nuts or pinion nuts, and talks about it for a couple of minutes. Yep, points out there's no trails, no trash, no people, largely uneventful, and he used that time to document the land and animals he found along the way. Interesting. Well, no, it's not, because we've already heard this before. But it said, saying how, it's uneventful, it's quiet, no one comes here. And you get all these people in the comment section saying, yeah, it's such a tourist place, and all these people come and go. No, only a handful. Yes, there's been a small influx to an extent because of hikers actively searching for Kenny at a point in time. But it's not led to masses of people coming and going. No, a bit over the top, that. And that's about the wildlife. Most of the hikers that have been there looking for Kenny haven't really found much wildlife, or at least dangerous wildlife for most part of it. I mean, Jeff Clark with the rattlesnake, I think, sitting on one almost, but no mountain lions caught on camera, none of that stuff. So, don't know where they are. Right. His drama didn't continue in his own comment section though, so I hopped back over to the original serious disclosure video where he was still actively commenting. A user named Lemmy Kilmister said to Kenny, no, do not go back there. If you find that cave entrance, don't go in. If you do, you won't get out. Kenny asked, what makes you say that? And Lemmy never replied again. Okay, first of all, from my own memory and recollection, okay, I thought the whole comment thread was all on son of an Area 51 worker or technician. I don't know what this whole serious disclosure video is, or is serious disclosure the name of the channel that has done the son of an Area 51 technician? Maybe it's that. You know, it's kind of piss poor in terms of understanding this text because it's not clear enough. You know, I like to make things clear, as you know, in bullet point. Boom, 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 make it bold. But this, you've got to try and keep up with it all. So, supposedly, the serious disclosure video must be to do with son of an Area 51 technician. Because if not, and it's a completely other video, then why have I seen the whole comment thing all on son of an Area 51 technician? Why would it be on two different places? I thought it was all in one spot. Now, if it is on a different video or something, the whole conversation, then it makes you think, then why was it deleted on the son of an Area 51 technician one? Why is the comment thread still active on this serious disclosure site or whatever? Oh, it's confusing, isn't it? Fuck me. But anyway, they're saying the own comment section happened elsewhere. Whatever. As for Lemmy, yeah, he disappeared. Does it mention anything about that? A few comments later, and Kenny made this proclamation. Now he was a man on a mission to prove himself. I'm going this weekend. I'll be hiking solo for 3 days. I plan on covering about 40 miles. I'll cross through the same canyon where I found the cave. If I don't find it again, I'll just continue hiking over the mountain and after mountain to the north of the canyon. I dare any of the people that like to run their mouths on here to join me. My hikes are brutal on the body. After one of my long hikes, some of my toenails, fall off. I lose about 13 pounds of body weight. It normally takes me 3 days to recover from the abuse I put myself through, but I love every minute of it. There is no guarantee that I will find a cave again. The region that I cover is vast. There are many caves. I've been in hundreds of them. The M cave is the only cave I ever feared going inside. I really want to find it again. Once again. First of all, this article fails to give updates on the fact that the Lemmy Kill Mr. comment was deleted, removed, and I believe that was before the comment thread was removed of Kenny's. The Lemmy Kill Mr. account supposedly deleted their channel as you can no longer find it anymore on YouTube, from what other people have said as well. And I believe that was done because this Lemmy Kill Mr. account probably received a lot of messages. I think a lot of people responded saying, why? Why did you say this? Give an answer. Tell us now. It may have become overwhelming. Maybe it was a joke that it went very badly. And because it was coincidental in Kenny disappearing, this Lemmy account thought, oh shit, I think the best thing I can do is get the fuck out. So the channel was removed as well as the comment. But once again, this article, this podcast, whatever, fails to include that. Typical. What else is there? Was there anything through this bit? Well, once again, saying, oh yeah, there's all caves all over the place. But is there? Even Kenny is saying that there's lots of caves. But is there? Because Scott Natal, did he find any proper caves? No, not really. Did Sean? Definitely not. Did Jeff Clark? No. I mean, found supposed caves or ones that could look like caves that were covered in, filled in, natural or not, etc. Probably natural. Yeah, there might have been the odd mine and stuff like that, but that's not really a cave. You know, it's not the same exact thing, what we're referring to. So, yeah. God, how much longer has this gone for? Okay. And that was the last we heard from Kenny Veach. In November the 10th of 2014, he packed his bag for an overnight trip, kissed his girlfriend goodbye, and set out for the southern Mojave Desert. Oh, wow. This is a problem. Once again, lacking information and clarity. Because from what was said and talked about, supposedly, it's not been mentioned on here, Kenny hung out with the girlfriend the night before, 2200 hours or something, went to the cinema, watched a movie, something to do with wings or birds, and then they drove away in their own separate vehicles and then said goodbye that way. And that was the day before he went out and went missing. Well, that's failed to be described here, doesn't it? Kissed his girlfriend goodbye, most likely the day before, and set out for the southern Mojave Desert. So yeah, it's kind of lacking. Back in the comment section, a viewer named Stephen T said, guys, Snakebitmgee's missing. He's the guy who holds the comment above. His name is Kenny Veach. He went on an overnight hike in the desert and never returned. Nevada authorities have been searching for him for some time. Of course, people responded with doubts, calling him a liar, to which Stephen responded, no, I'm not kidding. Watch his video titled M Cave Hike. You'll see that his girlfriend commented about his disappearance. That made me research the Nevada missing persons, and a quick Google search brought me to a news site which said disappeared on November the 10th, 2014. Okay, so just from this bit, it does look like it's missing stuff again because it's not mentioning about when exactly he was reported missing. Let's just go down a bit more to see if it does say. So we jump back over to the M Cave hike, now to search for his girlfriend's comment, a user named Sharon, and it says, okay, I'm not going to read this bit because we've seen it several times and it's very long, but basically, as we've seen, it's girlfriend saying about, oh yeah, Kenny's gone missing. I decided to leave a comment here just to say what's happened, how I've been feeling, how things have gone, reliving our memories in the past, how we used to love hiking out there together, spending time camping, doing all kinds of things, exploring abandoned mines or places, collecting items, taking all kinds of pictures and creating memories, etc., etc. Yeah. Then talking about the whole mental health thing with Kenny Veach and Kenny being suicidal and needing medication, seeing a doctor, even though we've not actually seen any documentation or full-on hard evidence to prove he's got mental health issues, etc., unless it's the whole mental health card, which, as we know, for the past couple of years, the mental health bandwagon has taken form. And then if a mental health profession that steps in who's involved in that field, even though they're questionable in their own behaviour, such as Sharon saying, "Don't pull a Robin Williams on me," but then also going on about the whole confusing status with relationships and kicking him out of the house or something, or getting him to move on or something, even though involved in the homeless shelter and stuff like that, and financial issues, but didn't seem to help Kenny in that sense. But then also the whole comment thing later on about saying to The Shape, some other YouTube channel, how Sharon said, "Oh yeah, I'll let you know if you're right or wrong. Oh, this is going to be such fun." Why is it fun discussing a disappearance case of a person you know, like what, a place like a game of hot and cold? I know none of this shows up on here, but you know, if you look at some of my videos, which have covered the latest stuff, you'll find out. There you go. Don't pull Robin Williams on me. There you go. It goes on and on and on. Yeah. We've seen it before. So the writer says, to sum it up, she says that she believes Kenny took his own life. That she had noticed a significant change for the worse in terms of his depression due to increasing money issues. She mentioned that Kenny had opened up and talked to her about his suicidal thoughts. His father committed suicide when Kenny was in his early 20s, reportedly told Sharon that if he was ever going to take his own life, he would not do it at home, but out in the wilderness where no one would ever find him. She believed he said this because of the painful memories he endured after finding his father's body. Okay. Well, first of all, if Kenny was to do that, to ensure that he wouldn't be found out there, then why would you leave clues behind in the desert to suggest you are going in a certain direction? You know what I'm saying? And we referred back to that in the last video, the last website one. Okay, the vehicle's out there. Well, it's bound to. How else are you supposed to get there? You can't hide the vehicle, you can't move it, you've got to leave it there to actually get out and then walk on. But then why leave the mobile phone at the mineshaft a few miles on with some coins? Why not leave those items in the car? I mean, he was suicidal, he knows what he's going to do, and he's just going to the correct location. You want to not be found, you don't want any kind of traces or possible hints whatsoever, then why leave a trail of clues then? Come on, you know what I'm saying? I know some people have said, well, maybe because he changed his mind, or he then decided to commit suicide, and then he decided to drop the items there at a distance. Well, why was he going out there in the first place? What, he was going to find a cave and then he had a sudden change of mind and thought, oh, right, now I'll commit suicide, even though I've got a camera with me and a gun with me for protection. What? Don't quite add up, okay? Then the writer says, throughout this elaborate comment and the thread that followed, I am perplexed at how calm she is about the whole thing. She just lost her boyfriend and is posting smiley faces with her comments, hardly acknowledging her grief, but instead only talking about the physical aspects of the hike and telling us their alleged conversation about depression. But let's skip ahead for more facts. Okay, so this writer is suggesting that things seem a little bit too normal, a little bit too calm, considering the situation of what supposedly happened. So, okay, they picked up on that, okay. By the 14th, when Kenny had still not returned from the hike and his girlfriend Sharon reported him missing later that same day, hold on. Already, we're going the wrong direction, listening to certain people when maybe it's a load of shit. Okay, so from what has been recently talked about, you know, and discussed in some of my videos, and from what a Veach family-related member has said, Susan Veach, is that Kenny was reported missing 8 days later after he went out, or went missing. 8 days delay. Longer than what's on screen now. So, why has that not been included in this? Does the writer not know? Does the writer only believe in what the girlfriend says and what everyone else does, or a lot of people do, believe in just one person? You know what I'm saying? Left it 8 days. Well, it was 7 days, but then on the 8th day, because of the timing, then they decided to call it a missing person case, and then the search and rescue went out. 8 days too late, and yet it's not mentioned anywhere in this article or podcast. So once again, lacking. Anyway, let's continue. Reported missing same day. Nope. After a week and still no sign of Kenny, authorities began to search the region. Large search parties were formed, helicopters deployed, and the Nevada Red Rock Search and Rescue Team were on the hunt for Kenny Veach. Despite all of the hands on deck, nothing of Kenny's was ever recovered except his cell phone. Things were recovered there. Once again, his vehicle was recovered. Why is it not mentioned in this? Obviously his vehicle was recovered. They found it. They did a search inside. They couldn't really find anything in there. And, this doesn't mention anything about the vehicle afterwards. Ray taking it at some point, it being handed down to the daughter of Kenny, Vicky Veach. There was the whole vehicle situation, and later on it being sold or something to some scrap yard or scrap metal at some point, exchanges, and all those Carfax reports, which Atari has covered on her channel. None of that has been mentioned in this. So that's typical, once again. What else is there? Actually, let me just say in brackets quickly, some of the information may not be included in this because they didn't know about it, and maybe some of that information wasn't mentioned or uploaded specifically at the time, such as the videos I've done. Maybe I uploaded the odd video of mine a few weeks later, a month later after this article was done. But then again, this writer, I'm surprised they didn't reach out to family members like Susan or somebody else, to get more information. So it's just one thing just to consider, okay? And in addition, let's just go back to the whole search party thing. So kind of vague, doesn't seem to mention anything about the sniffer dogs or anything like that from the looks of it. Okay, it says about his cell phone being recovered, but it doesn't mention anything about the coins. They found it resting on the ground outside the entrance to the mine. This led many to believe that he had probably fallen into the deep mine shaft and died from the fall. But when cameras were sent down to investigate, there was no sign of a dead body or that the pit had been disturbed in any way. No clothes or belongings have ever been found throughout the vast region. It's as if he's simply vanished from the face of this earth. Okay. So far, it fails to mention anything about the whole scent. Did that even exist? Did the sniffer dogs exist whatsoever? I think in the 2015 article it said there was no bloodhounds or any of that present, dogs. But it didn't really say was there another breed of dogs that were present, at least. So that seems a bit uncertain. This doesn't mention anything at all about dogs or scent. So what? The scent didn't exist, or it did? It's not exactly clear, is it? Anyway, what else? Sharon's comment on Kenny's video is the first that anyone in the hiker/YouTube community learned about Kenny's disappearance almost a month later on December 10th, 2014. Okay. Now knowing that he never returned and was listed as a missing person, more YouTube hikers went out to investigate. You can see videos under keywords like MK search, but Kenny's body has still not been found. I mean, if you use the hashtag filter, realistically, virtually the whole page is saturated with my videos. But that's only because the style and format of how I've made my videos, it's been progressive over time, finding one thing to another, but not all at the same time, hence multiple videos. And with the use of the hashtags, because it's relevant to a certain thing, there it is. First and foremost is the theory that he died of natural causes and that his remains are still somewhere out there in the wilderness. Although Kenny was an experienced hiker, it has been noted that he took monumental risk, refusing to take basic navigational aids along with him on hikes, like GPS. Kenny was known to have something of a condescending attitude towards more amateur hikers, saying that maps and compasses were for beginners. a point of view which has honestly been disproven time and time again. Many speculate that Kenny either became disorientated and lost his way, or that he ran out of supplies and collapsed from a combination of exhaustion and dehydration. However, either scenario is unlikely, as Kenny was hiking in a specific area, and if anyone were to die there by natural causes, searchers surely would have been able to find his body, belongings, or clues to indicate the outcome. Once again, this writer kind of goes backwards on what they were saying, because when they were quoting Kenny about the going 40 miles north if the cave's not found, why does this writer fail to link back to that in this part of the paragraph? Because, okay, yeah, it does make sense about dehydration, exhaustion due to his lack of preparedness, if that's a word, his lack of, care when it comes to resources. Yeah, okay, he might have collapsed, might have died on the spot, in the open, so surely anyone could find him, providing he's in the area. That might not be the case, because if Kenny said he's going 40 miles north, yeah, he might be in the open, on the ground, right in front of you, but 40 miles onwards. You know what I'm saying? So there's always that possibility. If, though, he was out in the open, I don't know how long bones last in a particular area, like maybe animals take them, scatter them around, possibly. If that was the case, well then maybe you wouldn't find his remains, because where they should have been are now many miles elsewhere, or in a little cave or a little ditch, because animals are present. So that's another problem. Anyway, other theories suggest animal attacks or foul play. Some say that he may have been bitten by a rattlesnake or attacked by a mountain lion, but this is met with doubt, because we know Kenny went out with his gun, and according to investigators, an attack like that would have left obvious signs. For instance, no blood anywhere, not even on his phone, and there was nothing to indicate animal predation in the location where it was discovered. Also, in addition, most hikers that have been out there, okay, some have reported the odd footsteps at night in the dark, like Sean, Scott Natal, but they didn't capture any actual, mountain lions on camera, or see any at the time. So there's that to take in mind. The whole idea about blood being left, maybe on the phone if it's stained and it's remained, but really, maybe if it's on a rock or something, I mean, maybe in evidence, maybe DNA or something, it might be imprinted or remain in some way, but visually it might completely be washed away if it's rained, or maybe it might have been covered by dust and stuff, it's dried up, it won't last forever, the blood stains. And obviously if Kenny's been reported missing later, 8-day delay, maybe things were covered up from there on then, naturally. Okay. Others think that Kenny may have witnessed something he shouldn't have, such as a gang burying a body, a drug deal, or even a classified military exercise requiring him to be silenced right there and then. Once again, though, there are no signs whatsoever to indicate that something like that has taken place. Well, hold on. Once again, the article fails to include the sighting on Google Earth in the past, I can't remember what year it was, of a military drone caught on camera flying over Jomay Canyon. That's not been included here. Military presence, military vehicles, a drone, what, for spying on, observing the area. Maybe it was there when Kenny was there. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't show anything. And it says anything to do with military exercises military exercises not being mentioned or shown. Well, you go on Google Earth, there is. You go on GLP, there is. Discussions, but this person probably didn't check. A less popular explanation is that Kenny faked his own death. A less popular one? I don't know. Okay. We know that he had quit his job of 17 years. Oh, okay. So this is different to the one in 2015. The article in 2015, that website one, was saying Kenny lost his job. In this article, it's saying Kenny quit his job of 17 years to start pursuing his own business. This is probably likely correct over the other one. But this had been something of a failure, and he was essentially living on his retirement money. Apparently, that business was not doing as well as he anticipated. Most of his YouTube videos documented him practicing pitches for Shark Tanks, and in one of his videos he talked about selling his home because he was running out of capital. Although there is no evidence to suggest that he owed money to any particular individual or organisation, this has led many to believe that he staged his disappearance in order to avoid paying his debts. This theory of faking his own death is highly unlikely for various reasons, which I don't want to spend too much time on. But I know that faking your own death is not easy. It requires immense planning, investment, and personal loss. Considering the amount of attention this case received, if he faked his own death, he would likely have been discovered by now. Okay, so let's just check back. So, it says most of his YouTube videos documented him practicing pitches for Shark Tank. Most. I think it was only like 2 or 3, so not that many. But then again, he also had his Cove hike video. He also had him doing that house tour and supposedly other hike videos in the past. So I wouldn't say exactly most to do with the Shark Tank pitch. Okay. It says, although there is no evidence to suggest that he owed money, well, why early on were you saying, oh yeah, and he was in debt and he had money troubles, from quoting what Sharon said? Well, he either owes money or he doesn't. And if he owes money, he's in trouble. And if he's in trouble and he can't solve it, then I guess he does have to get away. But if he doesn't owe money, he's not really in any danger, then there's no need for him to run away. So where are we going with this in this article? It's a bit up and down, isn't it? Anyway, the other bit where it says, where did it say? This theory of faking his own death is highly unlikely for various reasons, which I don't want to spend too much time on. Why don't you want to spend time on it? Is it because there is a link to yourself, personal experience, or it's just long-winded and it's not worth talking about because it goes on and on? I don't know. But then it says, requires immense planning and personal loss. Personal loss. But from what family members have said, from what Susan has said, that Kenny was quite selfish and he didn't really care about people around him, or so, or some of them at least. So personal loss wouldn't be much of an issue, would it? And as well, personal loss, from what's been talked about recently and discussed, the whole, getting away, but being assisted. He went out in the desert, supposedly left the odd clue to make it seem like he went out there, and then was picked up maybe by the girlfriend, as done previously, or maybe picked up by the brother, and then driven to somewhere else. You know what I'm saying? The whole assistance, it's not all on Kenny, this. Possibility that other family members might have played a role in helping him in some way or another. And that's why they might be tight-knit or keep things quiet, keep them to themselves, etc. Some of them at least. And with that, you won't get personal loss. So maybe this writer has failed to look at recent information. Anything else? Sharon's comment on YouTube gave us a different side to the coin. She proposed to YouTube sleuths that Kenny probably went out to the desert to kill himself. There are no official sources for this, so take the following with a grain of salt. But Kenny, apparently, when Search and Rescue were given the warrants to search Kenny's residence, they found articles on suicide in his internet search history, and that he had written the words "help me" several times. Kenny's girlfriend doesn't know whether he left that morning with the intention of taking his own life or whether he decided to do it whilst on his hike. He had left his video camera at home, which begs the question of whether he had any desire to find the M-shaped cave on this particular occasion, or whether he had more pressing things on his mind. She believes his body could be in any of the thousands of caves or mines dotted all over the Nevada desert, and that it would be very difficult to find him if he is there. Once again, here we go. So what? The bit where it says "help me" several times in the search bar. I mean, possibly. If that's where it is, that's where it is. Yes, it can lean more towards the idea that maybe he was struggling. But then again, depending how you interpret it, struggling, what? You need help. What happens if you're making inventions, you're designing something, you're playing a video game, whatever it may be, and you're stuck? What do? You seek help. Maybe online, you go on a forum, help me, I'm struggling, help me, how do I fix this motor in this engine? Help me, how do I perform this maneuver, this style of attack in this video game? Help me, help me, help. Do you see what I'm getting at? Don't mean to directly say help me in, like with the mental health thing, but maybe help me in solving this problem, this equation. It's very vague, this, once again. So it's, as the writer said, take it with a grain of salt or whatever, or pepper, whatever. So yeah. What else is there? The girlfriend doesn't know. So even the girlfriend is a bit confused. So what? 1 minute girlfriend saying, yeah, this happened, that's probably happened, and now it's going back on her own words. Well, don't know. That doesn't really help, does it? They would talk about the whole hot or cold thing, or let you know if you're right or wrong. They don't even seem to know themselves. So what are they on? What else is there? She believes his body could be in one of thousands of caves or mines. Maybe mines, but we're not seeing any evidence of anyone in a mine. Caves, well, we're not really seeing any evidence of caves whatsoever. So keep referring back to these keywords and lines, but do they even exist? Not from what searchers and hikers have found when been out there. Anything else? Now, remember where we are, Nellis Air Force Base. Only about 3 hours away from Edwards Air Force Base, home of Area 51. Well, first of all, Nellis Air Force Base is within the city, Las Vegas, if I'm correct in saying. You've got maybe that Nellis testing or bombing range or something in the desert, but the base itself is supposedly in the city. So once again, like in the 2015 article, this confusion, supposedly. Anyway, naturally, more wild theories have emerged from Kenny's proclamation that he felt the energy of something unreal. The most popular conspiracy theory is that Kenny saw government secrets within the cave and was kidnapped by US soldiers when he emerged. Well, if that was the case, once again, this article fails to include any talk, any discussion about Cave M by Accord Research in the 70s or 80s, where they went Jomay Canyon, and I think they end up going up, is it Dead Man Canyon? And they found a cave with military equipment, radio frequencies, which weren't the usual. And then Nellis Air Force Base members, the commander, intervened and told them they need to go. They couldn't record this or that, and they had to basically escape. Why does this not mention anything of that? Okay, I know you could say, oh, it's a load of rubbish, it doesn't make any sense. But then again, this whole article is about discussing a variety of different theories and ideas in general, so why not include that? Why not include this to reinforce certain points, to give a bit more insight, weight and impact behind stuff? But no, not at all. This brings us back to our sketchy comment from Lemmy Kilmister. Did he know something we don't? That being proposed, there are those that believe the cave was an entrance to something called the Deep Underground Military Base. There are many conspiracy theories surrounding such installations, and possibly the most famous example is that of Dulce in New Mexico, home of a secret underground alien base where all sorts of horrors such as experimentations on human subjects are said to take place. Okay, so using a different example for comparison, good. I've not really heard about that before, so that's good, what the writer's done. Others say that the strange vibration and subsequent feelings of fear experienced by Kenny as he approached this cave could have been the effects of what is known as an active denial system. Okay, we're getting into some more depth. The ADS is a non-lethal, directed energy weapon developed by US military, designed for area denial, perimeter security and crowd control. Informally, the weapon is also called the heat ray since it works by heating the surface of targets, such as the skin of targeted human subjects, without damaging muscle tissue. Okay. To an extent, possibly, there's military presence out there, or at least a base. They're going to have equipment. They've got cameras, they've got satellites, they've got radio things, which you might see in the distance on the odd rock. You've got guard posts, you've got fences, barbed wire. So, you never know. There's trail cams out there as well, which aren't military, but if there's trail cams out there, there might be other forms of monitoring and stuff like that. As for this whole access denial system, I mean, from what Jeff Clark said when he went through, was it Wagon? No, not Wagon Pass. I can't remember, but he was out there at one point in a slightly different location. He got out, I think it was Cow Camp Road or something. And as he got out, he started feeling vibrations. So maybe, as what he said, it might have been the access denial system. Possibly, you never know. After a bit more digging on this tool, I found a statement from a spokesman for the Air Force Research Laboratory where he describes his experience with the beams. For the first millisecond, it just feels like the skin was warming up. Then it got warmer and warmer, and you felt like it was on fire. As soon as you're away from that beam, your skin returns to normal and there is no pain. Reflective materials such as aluminum cooking foil will reflect this radiation and could be used to make clothing that would be protective against this radiation. So, I don't know. I guess if you're in an area where it's known for vibrations or some kind of weird feeling within, then wear that material and then maybe you might not feel it then. I don't know. Investigators have theorized that the device used in this particular cave could have instead have been based on infrasound. The infrasound is a relatively new discovery of ultra-low frequency sound waves which have significant effects on human beings when they are exposed to them. People are reported to experience strange vibrations, auditory and visual hallucinations, and intense feelings of fear when subjected to low frequencies. Okay, so I don't know if the infrasound has been talked about as much within the mystery case. Maybe not, I might be wrong, but yeah. It makes sense, I guess, because like, I haven't, but I guess from what others said, if you're listening to music or if you're at some kind of like live concert and you're at the front, it's very loud, the bass, the sound, you can feel it vibrating and going through your chest area, you feel it there. So I guess with a certain frequency of sound, maybe it'll cause similar feelings maybe, or if not worse, more intense. So it makes sense. Okay. What else is there? In relation to that, they occur naturally and their existence has been put forward as a possible explanation for a variety of phenomena, including including alleged hauntings and even alien abductions. These sound waves can be recreated under the right circumstances and could be used in a military capacity. It should be noted, however, that the M-shaped cave could have been a completely natural formation and may have actually generated its own infrasound waves. Science is weird. Kind of interesting that. I don't think many people have actually brought that point up about a natural cave creating those sounds and not being military equipment. So that's, I guess, another way of looking at it for a change. Not exactly the same thing at all, but in a way, when you've got like a seashell or one of those big shells and you put it near your ear, you supposedly hear the sound of the ocean. It's not the ocean, but it's some kind of sound, an echo or vibrations caused by the shape of the shell, I guess. Something along the lines of that. So maybe it's like that with the cave thing, the way it's structured, the depth of it, maybe. And last but not least, a more fringe theory suggests the involvement of extraterrestrials. Nevada is no stranger to UFOs and odd happenings. In particular, an ex-US airman by the name of Charles James Hall wrote a book about his experiences working in the Nevada desert. Oh, we're going on to this one. I think this was talked about on GLP and I even mentioned it in my video, where he interacted with an alien race known as the Tall Whites. Yeah, in his book, Tall Whites supposedly entered agreement with the US government, given secret underground bases around the Mojave, with the entrance in the mountains and stuff. Could the M-shaped cave have been the entrance to one of their bases, and could Kenny have been killed or abducted for stumbling upon something you weren't supposed to find? Well, yeah. But once again, this article fails to include Ewu Crew Explore With Us, when they went out there looking for Kenny, and later on at night, whilst being in Jeme Canyon, I think, waiting for some kind of visitor for some visitor to turn up in his vehicle, and as we were talking, was it Emma, if that's her name, from Ewu Crew, said, I don't know if we're going to find any UFOs today. And straight after, and I don't even think it was edited or cut, you had some like orb, the way it went up and down or something, went flying over the sky and over the direction, I believe, of Nellis Air Force. No, not Nellis Air Force Base. Over one of the military bases in the desert. Just appeared and then disappeared, and people were saying, "Oh, could it be a UFO?" Why does this not mention it? Why is there no links? You know, talk about UFOs. Don't you want a bit more proof, evidence, a bit more up-to-date footage to maybe suggest it? This doesn't, and I'm sure the Eru crew did it like a year or two ago, so this article should have included it. The cold, hard fact is that we likely will never know what happened to Kenny Veach or where his body lies. It's not unusual that people disappear, but the vanishing of Kenny Veach is truly bizarre. If you're in the Mojave Desert and you find an M-shaped cave, listen to Lemmy and don't enter. There are many questions, and once again, a few answers remain unexplained. Right, so basically what this... I don't know if this writer was ending it on a bit of a funny note, like a bit of a humorous one, maybe. But if not, and they were being serious, what? You're supposed to listen to a person called Lemmy with a default profile picture saying, "Oh, don't go in, bad things will happen," and then ends up deleting their bloody channel afterwards. And you're supposed to take them serious. So the next time someone leaves a comment on my channel and says, "Don't comb your hair the next day because your hair's going to fall out," well, I'm supposed to fully believe in that or something. What? Who are you, fucking hairstyle expert of the year 2022? Hello? Oh my God. Okay. So, what else is there in addition? Well, it says, "We'll likely never know what happened." Well, you might get a potential perspective on understanding a possibility of where he could be if you decided to look at the CCTV footage of 2018, the Reiki healing store Enchanted Forest break-in, owned by Veach family members, in which supposedly a burglar that looks somewhat like Kenny Veach, excluding the black facial hair features because it's black and white, it's nighttime footage, and obviously it makes things appear darker than what it does. You might know if you look at other CCTV footage. And supposedly family members confirmed it as well. If that was the case, then it would lean more towards that he wasn't in the desert and he was alive, at least in 2018, up to it. And yet this article fails to include that. And although, yeah, you might be able, some people might write off and say, yeah, but are we for certain? You know, it's not exactly enough evidence. But then again, this article itself, is there enough evidence to suggest this and that? No, it's just giving an overall explanation, backstory with theories, ideas, and the odd conclusion and possible own opinion. So once again, with that structure, with that format, then you might as well include the whole CCTV footage thing, because that's quite a big thing. That's evidence, it's footage, it's visual. There are witnesses and, you know, responses by family members, so it's kind of important, right? And yeah, as you see, it says February the 21st. It doesn't give the year, so I assume that means 2022, because normally if it's present time in terms of year, they only give like the day and month, and that's all. I think the same applies to TikTok as well. So I just thought I'd add that in. Okay, so hopefully you understood all of that. Maybe some of it rejogged your memory, and maybe for new viewers you can get an up-to-date understanding of where we're at within the mystery, because it kind of mentioned most of it, okay? And it even gave the backstory, gave a few dates, I guess, quotes as well, which we can no longer see anymore, well, to an extent. So yeah, gave my opinion along the way. I know people, not everyone, but some people, who won't watch the video up to this point. It's obvious, but my prediction is people will show resistance within the comment section. They'll most likely say, "Oh, well, do you know any better? Why don't you get your arse out there and go yourself?" And it's like, well, did the person that wrote that article go out there? No. Are they likely from the US? Yes. Is it a big deal? No. So why does it all fall on me? Well, it's because supposedly I cover it more. I supposedly know more, so I should do this and I should do that. It doesn't always work like that. Just think of practical reasons, okay? You know, people have different roles, specialities, or perform slightly better in one area than another. You know, you've seen Sean, you've seen Scott, you've seen Jay Chuck, stamina, physical stamina, focus, knowing where to go, what to do, coordination, the lot. They've done what they've done well. But have they done lots of in-depth research and all the thought processing and the different theories and the digging and all that type of stuff? Not quite, but it makes sense. They're doing more boots on ground stuff, more physical, hard-on things. That's probably not the correct choice of word in that, but you get what I'm saying. Me, and like maybe what Atari's done, and other people, even people that just watch the videos, that leave comments and say, oh, have you checked this out? Have you checked that out? You know what I'm saying? That might have shown or sent something to me. We're looking at a different area. You piece it all together, that's what creates it. You can't get someone doing everything, all one thing. It just wouldn't work. So with that in mind, let's just link back to this website, kind of like a conclusion. You compare the 2015 article to this 2022 one. Well, basically, things have developed. Theories and ideas have shifted, increased in size, in variety, complexity, if that's a word, and stuff like that. You know, the UFOs, the military involvement, suicide, natural causes, running away, faking one's death, all those different ideas. They've all evolved and emerged, okay. But one thing that's remained constant from 2015 to 2022, both articles, there are an odd few inaccuracies or lack of clarity. Things are very vague. The whole Nellis Air Force Base, and then some other stuff along the way. Suicide, going back on one thing, then going against the other. You know, it's just a bit messy in a sense. I mean, obviously, if you're just talking about theories in general, you're going to be bouncing around all over the place. But depending how you're wording it, you know, if you're talking on behalf of somebody or you're saying, well, most likely it's because of this, but then later on you say, well, we don't know because we don't have enough evidence to back it up. Then, well, why were you so confident there? And then just a few seconds later you weren't. You know, that's when it gets messy and a bit, you know, a bit weird. But yeah, there has been more information, deeper description from 2015 to 2022. Yeah, but still lacking information, lacking evidence, lacking research, lacking what other YouTubers have done and found along the way. None of that's been included. None of that's been mentioned. In 2015, you'd probably say, oh, it's acceptable, it makes sense. At the time, were my videos, my channel covering all that? Not at all. So how could you? Was Atari covering it back then? Not at all. Was Jeff Clark? Not in 2015, at least. What about Sean? Yeah, he started beginning back then. So yeah, he is an original. But was he mentioned that much? I don't think so. No. Maybe the more recent articles, not the ones I've covered here, but elsewhere in other videos, might refer back to Sean because he is the original and he's got supposedly harder hitting footage of what's been found. That would make sense. But yeah, a lot of background information and external findings have failed to exist in most people's websites, videos, content, you know, the ones out there. It might just simply be because, you know, to an extent, someone like me, you know, a fair few people watch the videos, which is all good, but you compare that to a massive YouTuber who might have millions of views, etc. And then you've got someone who's in the middle with like 20, 50,000 subscribers or something, comes in, does coverage of the mystery. Who are they going to look at in terms of information? Not mine. No, they're going to be, fuck you, Andrew. Piss off, Andrew. They're going to go to that person over there with the bigger following because the person with the bigger following must be right, must know exactly what they're talking about because a lot of people look up, listen to them. So this person comes and thinks there's a psychological effect. Okay, I'm going to look up to you as well because everyone else is, so you must be saying something right. And this person down there who's got a small following, then obviously they're not that popular. They don't know what they're talking about and not many people agree, so then they're probably a load of bullshit. It's probably some kind of like cult or something, brainwashing and all that. That's what basically happens in here when these people come along when researching. The people that might dig harder, put a bit more effort in, whether it's a successful outcome or not, you know, like what Atari's done at times, even if people don't quite agree or question her in terms of effort she's put in at times, those bursts of energies, going deep, searching, looking for this, looking for that, trying to link it all together. Can't take that away from the person. But you do think, well, why was none of that mentioned or talked about? Because this is the thing, at the end of the day, whilst all these other popular people and, you know, others are talking about the mystery, whether it be very vague or in depth or just talking loosely about a range of theories, whether they're true or not, they're still talking about them. So they might as well be talking about our findings and our research, whether they're true or not, or really full on in evidence, validity, reliability, yes or no. They might still be talked about and discussed, whether it be torn apart or reinforced. It doesn't really matter, because if they're doing that, then they might as well include this as well. Unless, in addition, it's to do with time constraints, search relevancy, maybe you don't come across it, like how I've not found some of these websites, like this one, what I've done today. Bungey Cord recommended it to me, appreciate that. Did I find it? No. Did he? Yes. Atari with the last video, did do a website. Did I find it? No. Did she? Yes. Etc. You see the pattern. It's not always me. So there's that. So could that be why other people out there, maybe on TikTok, other channels on YouTube, don't include our information? What? Because you can't find it? It's not easy to find? Something tells me that's a load of bollocks. The reason why I say that is because how many people upload, especially consistently, Kenny Veach videos? Virtually no one. You know, there'll be reasons to why, obviously, but what I'm getting at is if you go on like the search bar, yeah, you'll see the typical popular ones, which might be the hike footage out there because it's the most realist thing, because it's actual footage of the location, the place, etc., and an object that's been found. But then once you look past that, you know, people are going to misinterpret this in a narcissistic way, but you look at the rest of the videos, it's kind of flooded with mine, just simply because of the sheer amount of what I've uploaded, and that's all. 230 videos, all with similar hashtags. It's bound to fill the page up. So you're telling me those TikTokers or YouTubers could not find a single one of my videos which might have had some form of valid information in it, and they couldn't find it? That's less believable over someone like me literally typing in key combinations and words on Google and not being successful finding the websites which I'm presenting in these videos. So yeah, makes you think, doesn't it? So I don't know what the next video will be in terms of the mystery stuff. I mean, there is things to cover, but I don't know if we're going to continue with the websites, because I haven't got any others at the moment to look at unless I find something myself. If not, I'll move on to maybe the odd map video, okay? Because there is the odd few little viewer requests to cover and give my opinion. So I haven't excluded that yet, I just want to do it in a certain order. So you can leave a comment down below what you think of the whole thing. I think this video might be a bit longer than the last one, apologies for that, but we might as well keep up to date with it. I think if it does come to coming across any other websites and it tells the whole story, like how this one did, I probably won't read it out all over again, because what good does it do? You know what I'm saying? It gets a bit too much waffle. So I'll try and cut that down in the next video. So thanks for watching, see you next one, and goodbye.